And we're going to go. Coach Lindsay Huddleston here representing Horatio Williams Foundation and Sports Psychology Solutions with Coach Mark Dantonio from Michigan State. Coach, you've been participating in the Horatio Williams Clinic since its inception. Can you tell me why it's a priority for you and why do you bring your staff down every year?
You know, we started coming down here, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 years ago or more. And, you know, we come down here to try and give back a little bit. Horatio Foundation does a great job, I think, representing the city of Detroit and doing things for young people. So we want to be a part of that, and just especially with the youth football, not just high school football. So it's a way to sort of extend ourselves a little bit and give back. And anything we can do to help in that area, we do.
Right. You talk about the youth. We know Horatio is so committed to the youth. What kind of message can you get out to parents, younger players who want to get a chance to come to East Lansing and play at Michigan State or a great program like yours?
Well, you know, first of all, it's extremely competitive, and so you know it's very selective. Mm-hmm. But I think the main goal is for young people is to further their education and go play college and get into college and go play someplace, somewhere. And that's real possibilities, because if you put all your eggs in one basket in East Lansing or Ann Arbor, then, you know, it becomes very, very difficult. But I think if you open it up and recognize that, hey, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to college. I'm going to go to college. And then the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play football. I think when you start looking at your goals like that, you know, they become much more tangible for you.
I like that. Now, you talk about competitive. In my work as a sports psychology consultant, that's why I try to focus on the mental toughness. What kind of transition does a player have to make if they come from being absolutely great at their high school, you know, All-American, but then they come to a great NFL factory, to give you credit, like Michigan State? What kind of preparation do they have to do before they get there, and what should they expect once they get there, if they're fortunate enough?
You know, really, I mean, when you look at Michigan State right now, or you look at some of these other programs either, so I'm not going to say that we are the only ones. Mm-hmm. But every one of our players come there, and they're the best player in their city, state. Mm-hmm. They all come. They all come big. They all come fast. They all come strong. And they get bigger, stronger, and faster once they're there. Mm-hmm. So the biggest thing that you can talk about is you got to be able to sustain. So the mental toughness aspect is exactly right, because you got to be able to sustain your effort and stay fully engaged throughout the process. And I think young people today sometimes have a hard time being able to do that. You know, they lose confidence a little bit in themselves, or they don't see things going in their direction the right way, and it's easy to say, okay, let's go do this.
Right.
So I think the biggest thing that you've got to do is prepare yourself for a great challenge, not just on the field and games. Your challenge starts when you get there, and you're not competing with just a guy from down the street. You're competing with the best players academically and athletically in the country, not just the state.
That's interesting. That seems like that's a great selling point. A young person may say, I want to compete with the best, but when they're actually in that space and they're realizing they have to sustain, as you say, they hit that challenge. So what other advice could you give to coaches out there, because this is a coaches clinic, as it relates to getting these guys ready to be able to come to whether it's a Michigan State or any other school?
Yeah, you know, football is a game of repetition. So you got to repeat things. It's a game of technique. So repetition in what they're doing, keep it structured for them, and then you know, challenge them to continue to try and set the bar, and then go past that to overachieve. You know, bar set, overachieve. Keep doing that as you go forward, and hopefully you know, you get your opportunity.
So you have to challenge. So with that, I know you're going to still take some time and speak to the coaches. You want to give us a little bit of what's in your playbook for today and what you're going to share with them?
You know, really, it's just you know, our goals as a program, and a little bit about you know, how we were maybe able to bounce back last year a little bit. Some different things, maybe from a psychology standpoint, or there's a couple of things in what we think is critical to winning a football game. But you know, it's sort of a spin-off of some of the clinics I've done. And I'm going to talk for about 20 minutes, and you know, the main focus is that we got our assistants here, and we're talking a little bit of football, and as much about maybe as much about mental toughness and much about just sustaining as anything else.
Great. And last thing, Coach, what can fans expect from Michigan State football this season?
Hey, we're going to play hard. That's number one. You know, I understand that our players are going to roll up their sleeves, and we're going to go to work. Got a lot of players back. Got a lot of very high confidence level right now. and we're representing. We're representing not just on the field, but we're representing off the field too.
That's great.
And that's so important these days, especially everything that's going on around. So
right.
We are representing off the field as well.
Right. Well, we appreciate you taking time coming down to Rachel Williams Foundation, all that you do. You've been a supporter from the start. So thank you very much, and
Thanks
good luck
so much
with everything.
for having us.
Okay.
All right.
All right. We'll see you. Thank you. All right.